Hi, I'm Darcy Weir, and you're watching another occult journey documentary. The purpose of this story was to document the madness that's being spread in the media about this comet that has entered from deep space, and to literally separate the noise from the signal.
What if an interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft sent by aliens to test how humans respond?
Comet, asteroid, or something else? A Harvard astrophysicist believes there's a strong likelihood this is a craft of alien origin, and the implications, obviously, for humanity would be profound.
A new report from a Harvard astrophysicist warning a massive comet hurtling through space could be alien technology.
Right now, as we speak, 3I Atlas, an enormous glowing object the size of Manhattan, is speeding toward Earth on what appears to be a planned, coordinated trajectory. It's going so fast that you could fly from New York to Los Angeles in just 1 minute.
A supposed comet is catching the attention of some of the nation's most renowned scientists, as one Harvard professor is raising the theory this may actually be a piece of alien technology. According to renowned theoretical physicist Professor Avi Loeb.
It's Dr. Avi Loeb.
Avi Loeb.
Avi Loeb.
Avi Loeb.
The comet is on an extremely unusual path, moving too fast to be bound by the sun's gravity, breaking a typically seen orbital trajectory.
If some people are saying it correctly, a comet. If you're Professor Avi Loeb, you think it's potentially something anomalous. Professor Avi Loeb, who is driving, God bless him, a lot of other astronomers to distraction with his persistent assertions that there is something anomalous about 3I Atlas.
And just to remind whoever is viewing this, Ross himself keeps talking for years about unidentified anomalous phenomena. So he makes a living out of talking, not doing science, just talking and speaking to other people who do science. And he himself is engaged with things that appear anomalous. I'm doing the science. I published scientific papers. I wrote 9 scientific papers over the past 2 months on 3I Atlas. I'm not a journalist asking for the advice of other people to tell me what this object is. I'm actually doing the research to tell me what the object is.
If you look at it as a potential planned trajectory, which is not unreasonable, I think sooner or later we're going to find one that was or is. Maybe this is it. I doubt it in this particular case, but maybe this is it.
According to astronomers, 3I Atlas has all kinds of surprises. We've only seen a handful of blurry shots that look like a tail is kind of starting to form. There's the unusual chemical signatures.
The thing that actually motivated me to start documenting this story in the media and with Avi Loeb's comments publicly was an event in which Avi got very emotional and resentful on my friend Devin's podcast, Hannibal TV.
I'm doing the science. I published scientific papers. I wrote 9 scientific papers over the past 2 months on 3I Atlas. I'm not a journalist asking for the advice of other people to tell me what this object is. I'm actually doing the research.
I was asking some questions related to Ross Coulthart's recent comments that this comet is nothing to worry about or be sensationalized about. And, essentially he was trying to say, this is just a rare comet that we've never seen before or documented entering our solar system. Avi got extremely emotional, resentful, and started attacking Ross's credibility when these questions were presented to him or these comments were presented to him. I found that kind of strange. And I started watching the circus in the media really take place, and all the podcast comments go on from there.
All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth.
And that's what's gonna make everybody freak out, because they're gonna...
And that is the lie they're gonna want you to believe.
It's going to be something that's gonna be on TV. It's gonna move across the ocean.
Immediately thought, I don't know if there will be meaning to money if this object turns out to be technological after October 29th.
For the record, October 29th came and went, and we didn't have aliens arrive on our doorstep coming off of a comet. Additionally, the stock market did not crash.
Avi is very good with being open-minded about things. And in my book, you should not ever criticize, chastise someone for being open and honest and open. Well, shouldn't chastise someone for being open and honest about a topic. You know, and we look at 3I Atlas, and the 3I means third interstellar object to come through. 1I was Oumuamua, 2I was Borisov. Oumuamua was that rocky asteroid thing. Borisov was a small comet. And now we have 3I Atlas. Atlas is the name of the telescope system that found it.
So, 3 objects have been found in the last decade. One of them is peer review. That's one of them. Someone looks over your shoulder and say, "What are you doing?" That's one kind of peer review. Street peer review. What the hell are you doing? No, it's more formal than that, obviously. They're really checking for your biases.
Now, Avi suggested that there is some anomalous behavior. Well, here's why he suggested that. First of all, comets in our solar system come from our Oort cloud, the cloud of the realm of the comets, we call it. And if something passes by, you can have a comet start the lazy run into the inner solar system over a couple million years and finally reach us, okay? So it's really far out there. But it can only attain a certain amount of speed. It'll never go faster than a certain amount because it's only a certain distance. When an interstellar object comes into our solar system, it's already moving pretty fast. And when it passes through that outer Oort cloud, it's already going way faster than the Oort cloud objects are moving. So by the time it gets to, say, Jupiter in the outer solar system, it's moving extremely fast because the sun is starting to tug on it and pull it. And if it gets to Mars in the inner solar system, and then, say, near Earth or Venus, it's going to go faster and faster. Right now, its speed is 135,000 miles an hour. And it's getting more because the sun is pulling on it more. So this object, again, because of its speed, we know it's interstellar. That's number one. The next thing that makes it actually anomalous, besides being interstellar, is that those other objects came in from high up in the solar, perpendicular, more or less, to our plane of our solar system, yes. And the plane of our solar system's here, the galactic disk is out here.
You know, it will pass closest to the sun on October 29th, 2025. I got a text message the other day from someone who said that he is trading options on the volatility of the market with an expiration date of October 29th.
This particular object is coming in along the plane of our solar system. And although the solar system may be canted a little bit to the galactic disk, the overall galactic disk, it's coming in along the plane of our solar system, roughly, along this line. So that means that that's already an oddity. That makes it an anomaly. Why? Well, because we don't expect something interstellar to come from the galactic disk per se, because our experiences with the last two, and the only other two, was from high galactic latitudes, you know, and so forth coming in. So this guy coming in like this means, that this object is coming in from our galactic disk where there's lots of dust, there's lots of other stars, there's lots of, atoms of other stuff out in interstellar space. And so it's had a chance to accumulate lots of stuff as it passes through interstellar space. It's traveling through a busy part of our galaxy to get to us. So when it comes in here, the third oddity it has is that it appears to be larger than other comets. And maybe that's a consequence of all the stuff out there in the galactic disk that it's accumulated on the way in.
Plume of scattered light ahead of it, towards the sun, instead of behind it, away from the sun, the way comets show. It could find the UAPs.
Or maybe it's something else. But this object is much larger than we thought. And that comes from an analysis of how gravity tugs on it. Gravity doesn't move it very well. It moves it, certainly. Obviously, it's responsible for speeding it up. But if you have a lightweight object, then Jupiter, if it was going around Jupiter, it'd go right around Jupiter because Jupiter could pull it. Well, this object is only gently curving relatively, if you consider it that way, as it's going by Jupiter. And it's moving in less of a curve than we would expect, and that means it's more massive and more resistant to Jupiter's gravitational pull. So it's more massive. That's another anomaly. Another anomaly is, as it's coming in on the plane of the solar system, the anomaly is it's going to go past Jupiter, and it's going to kind of pass near Mars, and it's going to pass near Venus on the way out of the solar system.
So it almost looked like a planned trajectory, like as if you were sending a probe, you'd be able to observe all the planets on your way in and out.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. If you look at it as a potential planned trajectory, which is not unreasonable, I think sooner or later we're going to find one that was or is. Maybe this is it. I doubt it in this particular case, but maybe this is it. It's going to go by Jupiter, and then it'll go by Mars. Right now, if you're an alien race and you see our pale blue dot here in our solar system, the color of my shirt, right, the atmosphere, you'll know that there's oxygen here, and you'll guess with the quantity of oxygen that we're looking at life. So if you're an alien race, you may steer through the solar system and observe the Earth from a distance. But wait, how are you going to get that information back to your home world? It's only going to go at the speed of light. Comets have a nucleus of rock, usually. Then they have a coating of all kinds of ices picked up on their vast interstellar travels or travels through our solar system.
Avi Loeb was on the podcast a couple days ago talking about it.
Yeah, it could be aliens, I don't know.
We found nickel, a lot of nickel, very little iron. The only place where we found before much more nickel than iron is in alloys that we produce industrially. Maybe the skin of this object is industrially produced.
There are cases where there's very nickel-rich asteroids, meteorites that
that's what it is,
have
for something from space.
Yeah, it's only, yeah, it doesn't mean it'll be a very sort of heavy spaceship if you make it all out of nickel.
And so, as it gets closer to the sun, that ice begins to sublimate. As it's melting, it doesn't form a liquid, it forms a gas right away. And as it does, all the trapped particles of dust, which is billions of tons of particles of dust trapped in that ice, are liberated. And you get a dust tail behind the comet, all right? However, at that point where the nucleus is, you get this gigantic halo of light around it.
From images, we also saw that this object is active, which means that around the nucleus there is some coma, which is an indication that this object is in fact a comet.
Which is the material that's just sloughed off that comet's nucleus and that icy sheath full of particles of dust and dirt, okay, cometary debris. And it goes up into the area around that nucleus, and that's usually the brightest part of the comet. The less bright part is the tail. So in this particular case, the quote-unquote lights were not actually lights as in headlights. They were really mischaracterized. It's actually an inordinately bright nucleus. Why is it so bright? That's what that was. And it was because the nucleus itself is way bigger than we thought. So it's taking up more space in space and reflecting more light than we thought of the sun. It's not generating its own light. So when we see the red and green lights, one thing to keep in mind is that we don't know how that picture was taken. If you use a spectral filter, you can break the light up into the red, green, and blue components. Now, the blue component will probably be pretty faint. The red and the green component, green will probably be the brightest because the green component corresponds to what we see in most comets. It's green glow of carbon molecules and of cyanogen, which is a carbon atom connected to a nitrogen atom. And this stuff is the stuff that glows green in a comet, all right? And when we see that, well then we can say that if we took an RGB photo, we would see a greenish ball right? And if we took a red photo, a green photo, and a blue photo, and put them together on one frame, we'd see a red dot, a green dot, and a blue dot. Now we might separate them on the image to see three different things, which shows us the relative intensities of these different colors. They would point out that green is a dominant color coming from the comet. So that's more like what this is. And so I would tend to say that we're looking at a photo that may have been misinterpreted by people. And sometimes they will take a photo of the comet, let it move a little bit, and then take another photo with the other filter, let it move a little bit, and then take another photo with the other filter. So you might have a red image, a green image, and a blue image all on the same frame. And all you had to do was wait a little while and take the picture. So you take a picture of the in the red filter of the comet, let it go a few minutes, then take the next picture on the same frame, and you get a green view. And then you let it go a little longer, and then take the image with the blue filter. And now you'll have a red, green, and blue dot on your film separated from each other. So that may have been a misinterpreted photo.
It might have been a triple exposure, you're saying?
Effectively, yeah. You know, or it was three separate photos combined onto one frame.
An amateur astronomer apparently took this photo of 3I Atlas.
Well, then he's got better telescopes than anybody on Earth, because that object is not 3I Atlas.
So
that's either
describe what it looks like. It looks like a big triangle.
Well, you see a triangle with a horizontal bar sticking out of it. That looks like it's supposed to be an antenna or something. I mean, honestly, 3I Atlas, we can't see any shape to it right now. Not at all, because 3I Atlas is right now so far away that our best telescopes can't peer through the bright coma surrounding the nucleus. And so we can't see that.
So these interstellar objects on the physical level are delivering codes.
Let's deal as sensitively as possible with a lot of the claims about 3I Atlas.
It's not a political question.
In December, its closest point will be 167 million miles away, which is more than the average distance from the Earth to the Sun.
We know we are humans just like anybody else, and we carry biases.
What I heard, though, was that there are 6 predominant intergalactic family groups that are coming through to offer different teachings to different life purpose groups here on the planet.
You want to know what's up with that? Aliens coming to visit Earth? Maybe, but based on my read of history, unlikely.
But the light is polarized in a way that was never seen in a comet before. It has a very negative polarization. I wrote 9 scientific papers about these facts, submitted them to journals.
There's a planetary family, we'll call it, that is going to come and deliver teachings for people who are really connected.
This is not a picture of 3I Atlas. I go down on record saying that.
Recently, Avi Loeb, he spoke to the public and published his finding that the WOW signal that was found in 1977 at Ohio State University, that...
Let me start there, because there's some things that I've been reading. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not true on this, 3I Atlas. And I want to break that down, including the WOW signal.
Whoa. I guess anomalous 40-second message came from the Sagittarius constellation in the sky. And that's essentially exactly where this object has come from.
It was there, okay, but now it's down in the constellation Libra, which is further to the west, okay? So that's an interesting finding. It's a statement of fact, but it's by no means a statement of, comparison. That says because the WOW signal was in Sagittarius, and because this object's coming in from Sagittarius, therefore they're related.
For clarification on this Sagittarius comment and the WOW signal, the region of space in which the Sagittarius constellation comes from is huge. And to equate the fact that this object was seen coming from that direction, and the WOW signal from the 1970s also came from that direction, as being the same thing really is just misinformation.
The only relation is the fact that they were both seen in Sagittarius.
We don't know where the hell this object came from in that region of space. And we also don't know the exact pinpoint star or region within the Sagittarius constellation that the WOW signal came from. I mean, it's so vast, you could say a million different things come from there. And we may even see more comets in the future additionally come from that area.
Okay. I don't see any relation to that. I don't see any relation to the fact that it was in Sagittarius and to the fact that the WOW signal was in Sagittarius as well.
Okay, now let's pull the pin on this grenade and dive into the madness that's further being commented by many different influencers and UFO folks in the community.
I know a lot has changed since the last time we spoke.
CERN, they've used their collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
Whoa.
And
we have an update on 3i Atlas.
Wow. Well, that's extraordinary.
So these are anomalies. I'm not saying it's not natural for sure.
So at this point, there's worldwide interest in this thing.
3i Atlas was discovered on July 1st by the NASA-funded Atlas survey.
So it is named 3i Atlas.
He says 3i Atlas, the third confirmed visitor from beyond our solar system, may in fact be hollow.
Right, okay, yep, gotcha.
Comets are fragile objects. They break apart from thermal stress, gravitational forces, or rotational stress. A hollow or extremely light object would be even more vulnerable.
He doesn't go through peer review because he knows his claims are utter garbage. He doesn't care. He's a fraud now.
To be clear, CERN already has a room and a technology to open a portal to talk to extraterrestrials.
Yes.
But recently, they also used it to communicate with the beings on 3i Atlas.
That's correct.
Okay, go on.
Okay, 3 of them. And they've had some anomalous features. Fun. I love it.
3i Atlas is both an interstellar object on a physical level, and it is also a galactic ship on a metaphysical or multidimensional level.
Whoa. Well, this is an extraordinary development.
It is.
You remote viewed 3i Atlas. Did you do that on your own, or were you tasked with this assignment?
I was tasked by the same intelligence people I'm working with to look at the object.
Science is not a popularity contest. And it's really ridiculous to go around and ask people what this object is. That's not the way to find the answer. I'm doing the science.
One of them are the occupants from 3i Atlas.
I published scientific papers. I wrote 9 scientific papers over the past 2 months on 3i Atlas. I'm not a journalist asking for the advice of other people to tell me what this object is. I'm actually doing the research to tell me what the object is. Ross Coulthart is saying, I consulted with people and they told me that it's not anomalous.
So those beings introduced themselves as such, like we are the occupants of this object, and they did not show up physically.
I was with a couple really beautiful friends recently. I was thinking, why haven't I gone into this experience that we're having around 3i Atlas?
Fun. I love it.
This whole video makes me emotional because I'm like, yay, star family. But it just exists beyond our human perception.
And they communicated telepathically with every single scientist in the room. I believe that the direct reptilians, will be coming to Earth, but as to know what the exact intent, that I couldn't really say.
This is the 3i Atlas object, which is, if some people are saying it correctly, a comet. If you're Professor Avi Loeb, you think it's potentially something anomalous.
I saw these major alien ship, and it flies over the Vatican, and it goes over the Mayan temple.
And that was corroborated by other remote viewers seeing the same thing.
That's correct. Yes.
This ship and Draco.
That's correct.
If he were to go to the same people that he talked with about 3i Atlas, they would completely dismiss that as irrelevant. Yet, he believes that there are unidentified anomalous phenomena, and he keeps talking about it forever. But for 3i Atlas, no. He will go to the same people that dismiss UAP and ask for their advice, and then use sort of an average over their opinions to claim that when Avi Loeb does scientific work on this object, we should not accept it. Why? Because a group of other people said to him that we should not consider any anomalies. And I say, well, exactly this sentence that he said at the end, where the object doesn't show any non-gravitational acceleration, that sentence is an anomaly.
Recently, it came to my attention that a podcaster, somebody who's been interviewing people within the UFO community named Tyler, who has the Total Disclosure podcast, went public with claims that Avi Loeb may have bullied them and acted very aggressively. That was a very inappropriate move when they brought Avi into their studio for a follow-up interview.
I have never been ripped into so hard in my life by anybody. He just starts telling me how he could charge me $10,000 for an interview, how I offended him by picking him up myself, how about every single way this guy could belittle me, he belittled me. I'm not scared of Avi Loeb. I would punch that guy in his mouth, and I would put him through a wall if I needed to.
I don't doubt it based off of the extremely emotional and egotistical reaction that Avi gave towards Ross Coulthart when Ross commented on the 3i Atlas comet. I think you should also go check out that testimonial that Tyler gave on his podcast when you get a chance.
If aliens were interested in coming to our solar system, they would travel by means of a giant ship that flies interstellar for
thousands, tens of thousands of years or millions of years. Well, yeah, I mean, if the civilization was the Flintstones. Okay, this civilization, if it was advanced to the point where they could create something called a solar sail, which uses stellar high-speed protons and electrons known as a stellar wind, like we have solar wind from our planet too, our sun. If it could use that to strike a giant sail, that can push an object. And solar sail concept is provable and has been proven that it would work. Now the question is a stellar sail of some kind what we're looking at here? Well, the fact is we certainly don't know, except what we do know is that this object is starting to look more cometary. It's fuzzy, has a fuzzy coma now. It has a tail that's developing. And so it has a spectrum that indicates that we're seeing expected cometary compounds. That's kind of important. So I don't think that this a civilization, well, let's say it this way, an alien civilization would maybe launch a solar sail as a concept, and maybe it left their solar system 1 million, 2 million years ago and finally made it here. That'd be great, except it wouldn't look like a comet when it got here. So that might happen, launch of a solar sail, but this one doesn't seem to be it.
I'm not saying Avi's wrong, but the ball's very much in dear Avi Loeb's court to prove anomalousness. In summary, the consensus from a wide range of sources is
It wasn't a real ship. It was demonic looking light that was traveling around